As a result of his rendering such devotional service, his great determination and austerity, the personality of Godhead personally manifested himself before him. Dhruva was only a child. He wanted to offer nice prayers to the Lord, but because he lacked sufficient knowledge, he hesitated. But by the mercy of the Lord, as soon as the Lord's counsel touched his forehead, he became completely aware of the Vedic conclusion. That conclusion is based on proper understanding of the difference between Jiva and Paramatma, the individual soul and the super soul. The individual soul is forever a servant of the super soul, and therefore his relationship with the super soul is to offer service. That is called Bhakti Yoga or Bhakti Bhava. Dhruva Maharaj offered his prayers to the Lord not in the way of the impersonalist philosophers, but as a devotee. Therefore, it is clearly said here, Bhakti Bhava. The only prayers worth offering are those offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose reputation is spread far and wide. Dhruva Maharaj wanted to have the kingdom of his father, but his father refused even to allow him to go get on his lap. In order to fulfill his desire, the Lord had already created a planet known as the pole star Dhruvaloka, which was never to be annihilated even at the time of the dissolution of the universe. Dhruva Maharaj attained this perfection not by acting hastily, but by patiently executing the order of his spiritual master, and therefore he became so successful that he saw the Lord face to face. Now he has further enabled, now he was further enabled by the causeless mercy of the Lord to offer fitting prayers to the Lord. To glorify or offer prayers unto the Supreme, one needs to be one needs the Lord's mercy. One cannot write to glorify the Lord unless one is endowed with his causeless mercy. ओम अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मृतं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखाभितं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिंधु वैवच पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाश आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः. Thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha and whatever we are discussing today. So here the situation is Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest because he wanted to attain kingdom which is higher than his ancestors, his grandfather Manu, his great grandfather Brahmaji. So he wanted to attain kingdom which is huge and bigger than his ancestors because of the humiliation. So here Dhruva Maharaj comes to this situation by virtue of his desires. That is point number one. So then in the prior chapter, you all heard about Narad Muni appearing and instructing Dhruva Maharaj to chant the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So after the austerity in this verse, Vishnu appears, the 400 form Vishnu appears, and he puts the conch shell on the head of Dhruva Maharaj, the little boy Dhruva, who is a bhakta now, has not transcended into Dhruva Maharaj yet. He puts the conch shell, 400 Vishnu, puts the conch shell on the head of Dhruva Maharaj. So here the situation is Savai Tadeva Pratipadim Giram. That means when Dhruva Maharaj is seeing the Lord, he is getting anxious. He was not prepared to receive the Lord at that point in time. So he has attained it, and with and his speech is not fully controlled because he gets perturbed seeing the Lord in this effulgence form in this beautiful form, and he is getting anxious, he's getting perturbed. And then here there is emphasis on someone who has come with sakam, with expectations, with desires, with sakam karma. I want to desire something. We all have desires. That's why you are here. Dhruva Maharaj, exactly for the same reason. Dhruva Maharaj is uh, very high in terms of his spiritual potencies, but the situation is he came with sincere desires. And how is Lord responding is the point of discussion for today. So, as you can see, Dhruva Maharaj, through his austerities, he became aware of the difference between the individual soul and the spirit soul, and understood the absolute truth, which is essentially when we understand the difference between soul and super soul. So, and there, here, Vyasadeva is using this beautiful word, bhakti bhavo. That means he is looking at Lord Vishnu with bhakti, with bhakti, with love. And when bhakti comes, what happens? So, Lord connects with devotees in many different ways, and that is for Lord to express. So here, as you can see, Narad Muni as a guru came and showed the path, but the eventual decision, eventual reception of a devotee's desire is done by the Supreme Lord. As you can see here Vishnu, the 400 form of Vishnu, is beautifully appearing with his Bahana Garuda in the back, as you can see, and he's touching the conch shell, the Sankha, to the forehead of this little boy, Dhruva. And that transformation is what we're going to discuss today as to how Lord is touching different devotees in different ways. So, as you may have seen in Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Chaturvida bhajante ma janashu kirtanarjuna artha jigyasu artharthi jnani cha bharatashtrama. So that means a distress comes to the Lord. That's the first kind of people who come to the Lord. The desirer of wealth comes to the Lord. The inquisitive comes to the Lord. And those who is searching for absolute truth or the knowledge of the absolute. Of these four grades of people who come, the distress, after he is addressed with his distress, he may stay, he may not stay. So he's probably lowest in the chain of someone who is seeking the absolute truth. Then somebody asking for money, he comes to the Lord. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. And Lord says it, that's absolutely fine. And sometimes Lord reciprocates with wealth and he goes away. Or he can choose to stay. And the inquisitive, Jigyanshu, he comes to the Lord. And the fourth kind of devotees who come are essentially the devotees who are aware of the truth, who are aware of the absolute truth. So Dhruva Maharaj is of that category. Dhruva Maharaj is of the category of devotees who is searching for the truth. But if you look at the onset of he going to the forest is primarily to do with kama, desire. He had desire to receive. So there is nothing wrong in actually coming to the Lord with desire. So that's where uh, we, as practitioners of this Bhakti Yoga, should provide opportunities for devotees to excel. Let Lord do his own job. Lord has his way to connect to different devotees in different ways. And we don't know how Lord is going to connect. Lord can connect in many different ways, which is beyond our imagination. We cannot set the mood because the mood of different devotees are so unique, are so unimaginable. We cannot express it or try to measure it that this mood is not right, this mood is not right. The essence is how we provide facilities, like how Narad Muni, as a guru, he provided the facility. How Lord is going to eventually deliver, how Lord is going to eventually benedict, how Lord is eventually going to receive and reciprocate is up to the Lord. So when we think about our process in general, when we know about this process, we practice to others. But our intent is to do our job thinking that Lord can connect with devotees in different ways. Dhruva Maharaj is a classic example where he came for desire. He came for desire. He had no knowledge, as La Prabhupada is beautifully writing. He had no knowledge of, he was, but he purely came for the desire to receive a kingdom which is bigger. So in a way, but when bhakti comes in, as is mentioned, bhakti bhava, when bhakti will set in, jnana, to foster that bhakti, will come to you. Then, when the jnana sets in, when the knowledge sets in, austerity on how to get detached from material benefits will set in. So, those things, how those things will set in a devotee is beyond us, but we are just providing that little impetus of how we have experienced it and we want to share. And that sharing is a initial facilitation, but it's not an end because Lord can connect, as you saw, in different ways with different devotees. So if you are focused in doing a service, if you are provided with ample facilities, you will excel. You will not be thinking because different people have different levels of understanding and how we can bring it all together. And that is where Lord says that whoever anannash chintantoma yejana paripasate tesam nitya abhiktanam yoga kshemam rahamya. That means those who worship me with exclusive devotion, bhakti bhava. Vyasadeva uses the word bhakti bhava in this verse. Meditating on the transcendental form. To them, Lord carries what they lack and preserve what they have. So as long as we are facilitating the process with devotees who may have come with any desire, no problem. No one is perfect here. So anyone who has come with any desire, if you are facilitating, Lord is eventually take care of them. You're just providing a facility for them to express and, and express their love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is something, this intricate back and forth with Dhruva Maharaj is so clear to us. If it is not clear, then what it can be. Dhruva Maharaj had no idea about Vedic literature. He had no idea about bhakti. He got humiliated by the stepmom, and the father couldn't help because he wanted to have relationship with the younger queen. Always declining love to the elder queen. So, with sheer humiliation, he wanted to have a kingdom where his dad is sitting, to have much more than that. So, he came with sakama karma, pure desire that I will attain more and more and more. He comes in, he is given, and this is where Srila Prabhupada speaks at length on Dhruva's Leela in many forums, because this is exactly where devotees come to our temples. How we are facilitating them. Are we facilitating them as close as Narad Muni without thinking or without judgmenting that what are the benefits we can give so that their bhakti, Lata Bij, can procreate and be the creeper. Otherwise, the goats or the Maya is going to eat it. And we just facilitate the Bhakti Lata Bij is going to grow in its own way if we just provide without thinking about how Lord is going to connect, because Lord connects with devotees in different ways. He puts to the four Kumaras, the smell of Tulsi was too much, and they got transformed from Jnana yogis to Bhakti yogis. Like here, Dhruva Maharaj was purely a karmi, if you see, purely a karmi seeking benefits, gets transformed by the touching of the conch shell from the Lord in his forehead. And so Lord can connect in many different ways. So that's Lord's job. Let's not bother about that, because Lord has, we can't understand, because Lord is inconceivable. Achinta. Lord is inconceivable. So when we facilitate our process, we should facilitate with a plan, not to tamper with the plan. As plan, what is the plan? Plan as to how Srila Prabhupada has laid out, so that the bhakta gets the catalyst he desires in this forum. And when he excels, Lord touches him in many different ways, which is beyond our imagination. As you can see, Dhruva Maharaj is came purely as a karma yogi, seeking desire to be fulfilled, and how tam bhakti bhava, he's engulfed with love once the council touches, and he gets other things like the satellite Dhruva, pole star Dhruva, which is there as mentioned here. Annihilation takes place, but the pole star still stays, annihilation after annihilation. So he gets the benediction. And this is where Dhruva's Charitra, as it is called in many different languages, Dhruva Charita is a very, like Prahlad Charita, Dhruva Charita, four Kumaras Charitra. They and we also went through Kardama Muni Devahuti pastime sometime back in the third canto. Those are some of the tenets of bhakti, and how bhakti, when sets in, the jnana or the knowledge will come in, and detachment or austerities will set in, and that will take its own path, because 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 there is this facility, and we are spirit souls. So this facility, which is provided to a aspiring bhakti yogi, can transcend and manifest in many different ways, which is unthinkable for many. Who had thought that Lord will appear to this little boy and he will get transformed, who was seeking benefits in the form of a king? So this is a classic example of how in this age of Kali, there are many different reasons people come. I was hearing a class by Jayadutta Maharaj in New Vrindavan. He was saying during his time, there was a person who joined the movement He got initiated, but he wanted to do his master's or PhD thesis based on this spiritual path. And after that was done, he left ISKCON. But the point is, who stayed back? The great devotees who stayed back. That's fine. He came for that purpose. That got satisfied. He left. But the devotees who stayed back, who have stayed back celibate, performing bhakti for so long, why they stayed back? What was the motivation of them staying back? If you take a little leaf from that, we will become, great practitioners of this. And gradually, this is not a medicine which immediately works. As you give time, your sharpening of bhakti happens, and it's essentially being in the process, and sharpening our quality, cleansing our heart, which really takes us forward in our quest for bhakti. It is not a medicine which works and then we go back. So it is essentially a way of life, as our acharyas say. And when we take this seriously, based on some of the facilities provided to us, God, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can touch in many different ways and inspire us in many different ways. There is no set rule as to how they are going to influence us. And by doing that, our life becomes fulfilled. So, beautiful verse to ponder about how Dhruva Maharaj, uh, looking at the presence of the Lord in him, got transformed. And that's how we all should think, that Lord is around us. And whenever we go to temple, look at the beautiful Shringar uh, darshan, and we should see the presence of the Lord in the altar, and many different devotees of the Lord who are actually trying to serve the Lord. And when we do that, our faith, as it is mentioned here in this verse, the faith strengthens, even if we have come from any desire or jnana or karma or ashtanga, but eventually it will dovetail into a loving relationship. Essentially, it is the relationship we're building. We're taking time to build the relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that cannot be declined by anyone, because you are spirit souls and you're part and parcel of the spirit soul. Everybody is entitled for their relationship, but some folks may have forgotten because under the influence of the illusory energy of the Lord or Maya. And it is just that they may not have got the association of devotees, or association of books, or association of this name, or association of the dham, or association of prasad. Somehow Lord will connect in many different ways. Lord will come into a devotee's life through prasad, for example, through the books, for example, through the chanting, or some katha for that matter. So they will enter into the nostrils, into the ear, into the mind of the Lord, of the devotee, in many different ways. And it will do wonders when that permanent medicine is set in. And there are devotees who are away from the movement for long, but when they hear a sankirtan going around, they once again, that cell or molecule is really going to get agitated, and they will go crying for the name. So giving a chance is important. How Lord is going to connect is up to the Lord. As we do the service, going in cold, distributing books or doing Harinam, it will connect someone. We don't know who it will connect. Lord knows about it. And like as Dhruva Maharaj, what a turnaround if you see a karmi eventually having bhakti bhava, as you saw in this verse, the Bhakti Bhava word is used, that with love, Lord reciprocates. So with that, I like to end. We can go on and on this, but as we churn this more and more, and we look at from the angles of many different acharyas, this Dhruva Charita is a topmost realization charita for all the practitioners, and what we should learn and imbibe in our lives. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Ramakrishna. We'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead, and we'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama,
Ram Ram, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Singha Jena Singha Praladesha Jaya Padma Maka Padma Bringam Ugra Vira Mahavishnu
Ugraviram Mahavishnu Jalantam
Nrsimham
Sarvatrumkham Narsimham Krishnam Padram Nityamurti.
Nrsimha Bhagwan ki Jai, Prahlad Narayana ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the Samar Vaishnavas.
Vanchakalpatarubhashya Kripa Sindhu Patita
Pavaneo
Vaishnavedyo Namo Namah.
Vaishnavrinda ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Ki Jai.
Ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari 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 Bol.
Thank you, Himanjana Prabhu.
Thank you
Thank you. Hare
everybody. Hari
Krishna.
Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare